All right, welcome in. Yes, the inaugural edition of Ritchie and Rob. I get reunited with John Ritchie right here for the great betPARX. John, I missed you. I don't see you anymore, man. I needed John Ritchie in my life.
Well, we're back like peas and carrots. Bert. I'm Bert. I don't know if those out there appreciate your nickname that I don't know, maybe only I call you, but
you created it. Yes. Kid Vicious.
Robert Ellis
Yes.
became Bert, and
Yes.
I don't know, it didn't stick. But
It's gonna stick now.
it's catchy.
Yes. But John, good to be
to see
hanging
you,
out with
man.
you. And we get to do this each and every week now during the football season, where we're going to look back at an Eagles game, go through some of the fine points. Cause I know, man, I know this for a fact. I watched you, all right, pour over the film of this thing. And then we're going to look ahead to who's coming up here. So John, let's start with the Patriots game. And, I think we all have the same sense. And look, you played the game, so nobody knows better than you. Yes, it's difficult to win in the NFL. It's difficult to win on the road. It's Bill Belichick. All of those things are real. But I think with our eyeballs, we also know that this Eagles team is capable of a lot more. What was your sense of that game overall?
I was extremely disappointed with the way that we performed. I was extremely impressed at the multiplicity that Bill Belichick and his staff put out there defensive front-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I was impressed by the strategy employed by the Patriots. They ended up jamming us, going with a Navajo front, or what's called a bear front, where you cover the center and both guards, and then you can build that out even further, where you go big dubs, little dubs with big defensive ends or little defensive ends, or you can do that in the nickel, or you can do that in the dime. The Patriots do a lot of strange stuff out of nickel and dime personnel packages. So that's basically what stopped our inside zone. Our bread and butter, the RPO basic,
Right
where it
inside.
starts.
Yeah.
They were playing this. It was almost like a goal line front with, the inside all jammed up, but they were using smaller players who were more athletic and who could slow play things, play, disciplined assignment football where everyone's in the proper place at the proper time. They know their leverage. They know their teammates' leverage. And they played that run unbelievably well, took us out of what we do great. And I think we were very uncomfortable with that. Part of the problem with the RPO ball handling in wet weather is that gets a little dicey. So maybe they wanted to go away from the inside zone for that reason also. But we were not effective at doing what we do best. That's a problem. If other teams can mimic that, then we got to be a lot better. And our offensive line was not as effective as they have been every other game I've watched them. Every other game.
That may have been the most surprising part, right, of the whole game. I mean, I thought Lane had a tough time. Mailata had a tough time. It really collectively across the board.
And we know that's where it all starts. In the trenches up front. Jalen did not have the time to ever get comfortable. Jalen never got in a rhythm all day. He couldn't because he had guys breathing down his neck. He had protections breaking down. And our tackles played poorly. Jordan Mailata, it's just not good enough right now. I'm a little bit worried that he's regressing. Lane Johnson, I don't know how in the world he gives up 6 pressures when, after blanking everyone in the world for his entire career. Matt Judon's a great pass rusher,
Right.
but, man.
John, was this
strange.
just they got outplayed, or were they not as prepared as they should have been by a new offensive
they
coordinator?
weren't
Because we
as
assumed the
prepared.
offense would hit the ground running. They didn't.
Well, we were not as prepared as we needed to be. When I've been in games, Bill Belichick games, where you're like, I have no idea what that look was. We got to get to the sideline. Let's get to the grease board. We got to figure out how we're going to attack that look because we've never seen it before.
Right.
So then you go to the sideline, you regroup, you go back out there. He throws a different look out there that you've never seen before. It's this constant process of updating and learning on the sideline because he's going to throw the kitchen sink at you.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't do the best job of adjusting to that. And I also think conditioning was a factor. And, I've asked some of the We asked Brandon Graham
Right.
on our show
Yep.
if conditioning was an issue. He said it was not. He didn't see that at all, didn't feel it. I feel like I watched it. I feel like I watched guys out there slow-footed, just slogging through it, knowing in part the way I felt in every season opener I ever played in. And that was after practicing twice a day for 2.5 hours in pads for the previous month. And then playing the first half of the preseason games, 4 of them during that month. So I was actually in football shape, and I would be gassed for, in the second quarter, because there's so much emotion. Emotion takes it out of you. There's so much that that football shape is different. We were not in football shape. I think it showed. I think the New England Patriots were in better shape than we were, and that's why the game was close.
Yeah.
In part, okay, so it's conditioning. It is strategizing. It is we never got comfortable. It is they were able to do a great job getting the ball out of Mac Jones's hand quickly, and they had a nice game plan.
Yeah, they did. And I on the offensive side, to see Goddard get 1 target, to see 2 touches for Swift, very curious. The other side of the ball, it's clear, John, teams are especially tight ends, and they're going to get Hawkinson this week, are going to look to attack the linebacking crew, especially with the Kobe Dean not being there. I mean, that is a thin spot to begin with that just got thinner.
Yeah, we have 3 inside linebackers because we brought Nicholas Morrow up from the practice squad. But I didn't think he was very impressive during the preseason.
Yep.
I do like Christian Ellis's aggressiveness. That's a lot of times what you'll get with the guy who's played a lot of special teams. He just wants to prove himself, and he's going to smack people, put his face on people. I love his mentality. And Zach Cunningham, he's had a lot of success in this league. I think 2020 was his last big productive year, had like 164 tackles or something like that. But I still see, I think he's still got a lot left in the tank, and he knows the game. I'm not sold on him. I need to see more, but I'm worried about the linebacking spot. That goes without saying. I'm also worried about our safety play. Just wasn't good enough. Reed Blankenship is not a cover guy, and every team is going to try to make him a cover guy, and that's problematic.
So here's the deal. You got to download the betPARX app, which I know John and I have. You get the Prime Extra Down promotion. That's Prime Time Extra Down promotion. Time to crank up the same game parlay, opt in, and place a 3+ leg parlay on tonight's football game. If your same game parlay loses, you will be rewarded with a $20 bonus bet. All right. So it must be 3 legs with final odds at +300 or greater and $20 cash. This promo runs for every prime time pro football game this season. My parlay here, I'm going with the over 42.5 receiving yards, -112 for Dallas Goedert, the Vikings +7 at -110, and over receptions 4.5 at +120 for Dallas Goedert. Heavy Dallas Goedert this week. Parlay of this would be at +350. A $20 bet would pay out $70. So if you opt in to the primetime extra down promo and this loses, betPARX is still going to give you $20 back in bonus bet. All right, John and I, you got to watch for us later in the week because we are going to preview the game between the Eagles and the Vikings. Yes, he's John Ritchie. I am Rob Ellis. We are Ritchie and Rob. John, looking forward to seeing you next week, my man.